Yes, hello, this is Jim Wiedemann, ditch viewers for Rindle County ditch JD 15, ditch number 129, 33B, County ditch 114, other viewers, but they also did it the same way we did, and judicial ditch Buffalo Creek 75-2. Viewers on this one, Jim Wiedemann, I'm from Redwood County, farm in Redwood County. Dave Schmidt was a farmer from Kaneohe County and also a tiler. And Steve Johnson was a farmer south of Tracy and was also the assistant highway engineer for Lyon County. The reason they had us do all these at the same time was all those other ditches dump into JD 15. So we did a redetermination on all of them. Here's a statute of 103E, some of the reasons to do redetermination of benefits and damages for appointing viewers. If the Drainage Authority determines that the benefits or damages of record determined in a drainage proceeding do not reflect reasonable present-day land values or that benefit or damage areas have changed, Drainage Authority may appoint viewers to do redetermination. What this is meaning is this was done back in 1955, the last one, and today's dollars are a lot different than that, and plus we took in more lands for the redetermination benefited acres. Next. When they hire us, there's three basic ways to figure out the benefits for a drainage system. The first one, I'll go over number 3, an increased value of the property as a result of potential land use. By coming with a ditch system, can you change the land use? This is not presented to here necessarily, but we have done some around the city of Fairmont that was marginal land, crop land. They came with drainage to it, and now it's on the edge of the city, so it became a housing project. Well, the housing project land was worth a lot more than the land without drainage. So that's one of the ways you could do it. Next one, number 2, is an increase in the potential for agricultural production. That's the one that we mainly use, and we reconcile it with number 1, an increase in the current market value of property as a result of constructing the project. What that means is, what's the land worth now without drainage, proper drainage, recommended drainage, versus what's it going to be worth, the market value with recommended drainage. The way that the viewers used to do this back in the old days, 1920s and so on, is they went the same way the law book says now. You view each individual 40-acre parcel, government lot, or smaller parcel, and you have to view it. You go out there, and the 3 viewers would look at a 40, just like we do today, and they would say how many wet acres. They just classified it wet acres. Out of that 40, one viewer would say, looks like 7, one would say 8, one would say 9, 8 it was. So that particular parcel, 40-acre parcel, would pay for 8 of its acres, even though all the acres went down the ditch. Some of the ones right where the ditch were built, maybe they had 30 acres of wetland. That's why the ditch was there, because that was a low ground. So they had to pay for 30 acres of their 40. The other guy paid for 8 acres. If you look at a 40-acre parcel that's on the watershed way out there, they probably only had to pay for 1 acre. So who built the ditch back in 1920 or whenever it was? It was the people that were the low land, the wet acres. Who fixes it back then was the people with the low acres. So the guy out there that patterned tile down with 1 acre benefited, he was getting kind of a free ride. Now we take in all acres, take all the acres in. We do this at different classifications. We have 4 basic types. We have more, I'll go over that. But we basically have an A, a B, a C, and a D. An A acre, if you had no drainage at all, would be standing water cattails. Well, if you have recommended drainage, that acre then is going to benefit the most, because it's going to go from standing water to cropland. The B acre, if you had no drainage, would be the grassland around that slough. the grassland, it always was good for hay and pasture. But if you have recommended drainage and pattern tile that's going to benefit quite a bit too. Not as much as the A, but it's going to benefit quite a bit. The C acre, it's more than just the hillsides, but I refer to it as kind of the hillsides. You always did get a crop there in the hillside, but now if you have recommended drainage, you will pattern tile that and you'll get a better crop off the Cs. The D acre is the hilltop. You don't need subsurface drainage for the hilltop. Sometimes they tile right through it, but that could be convenient so you don't have to hook up on the other side. But a D acre will, if you have recommended drainage, it will benefit some, because you're not going to go out on your 40 acre parcel or your quarter and farm just that hill and that hill, plant those, then come back a few days and plant a little bit more. If you have recommended drainage, you can get there maybe a few days earlier, 5 days earlier. You can plant the whole field, so the D will get some benefit also. To find these A, B, C's, and D's, we go through several things. The first thing is the soil characteristics. Each soil, the different characteristics, how bad it needs drainage. It's from the old soil books that we used to all have. Now it's online or on the computer, so we go on there and get it. But the soil classifications, characteristics, for example, on this one you have some 35 right in here. The 35 soil is a blue earth muck. It's called a classification of the 3W. It's got a water table of +1 to -1, one above to one below. The water table tells you it's real thick soil and water can't go through it. Now, if you farm that, you would know that, because I've said behind this grove, you got a low spot there. He says, yeah, I know, I've been farming it. If you look at some of the other ones, like the 102Bs over here, that type of soil, that's got a water table of greater than 6 feet. In other words, the water goes right through it. So that'll tell me the classifications. I got to get an A, a B, a C, and a D. Another thing that we use is the elevation contours. What the elevations, these contours, we used to see maps all the time. They had some contours, but it was 10-foot contours. Now we have 2-foot contours, or we can get it down to 1 foot. So a lot of things can happen between 10 feet. But if you look at this particular map, you could see that 35, that blue earth muck, you could see where there's a hole there. That's got to get pretty deep before it goes out. So, and it's a 3W soil, so probably that's where the A's are going to be. So we use the contours. The next thing we use is the DM, digital electronic modeling. This shows us there's a 35. Again, that is white there. That's a lot lower. If you look at the 102Bs over here, it's a little higher. If you look at the 102Bs here, that's higher. That is, however, a building site, so it's coming off of there too. This helps us classify the A, the B, the C, and the D. The first thing we do is we take each 40-acre parcel. We look at this 40-acre parcel, or smaller. If it's a building site of 10 acres, we look at that individual thing. Sometimes it's government lots and so on. But we count each soil type, and we have the computer count it, and it tells us how many acres of 102B we have, how many acres of 83A. 83A is a 2W. 887B, that's a greater than 6 feet water table also. Then we look at each one of those soils. The first thing we do is we take the roads out. If this is a county road beside there, we take 2 acres out. That parcel, that landowner for that parcel, will only now benefit on 38 acres. Reason it's 38, because the road authority will take the other 2 and pay for that. The next thing other things we do, the next 40 over, if we look at that one, it's got a ditch on there. We take the ditch out, the ditch acres, because you don't have to pay for that. We take those acres out, measure it, and so on and so forth. Also, we take out the buffer strip. You don't have to pay for those either. You don't benefit from that. Another thing we take out are NBs, we call them on our spreadsheet. We'll go over that later. NBs are non-benefited acres. If you look at this building site, you got some trees there. Okay, those are non-benefited. Some places, not this particular picture, but some places we have a slough there or cattails. We take those acres out because they're non-benefited. We also handle acres different. If there's CRP, that's just regular farm ground. It's your choice to put it into CRP, not a problem, but we treat it just like regular farm ground. If it's RIM or CREP, that's permanent set aside. If it's RIM, we do handle it a little bit differently. The building sites, we got a building site over here. The buildings, the water runs off the building, the water's going to go down our ditch or our tile system, so we take those in. We call those D minuses. We charge the D minuses the smallest value, the same value as we charge a D, but we do take them in. Cemeteries, there's none right here, but a cemetery, we do take those in, usually just 1 acre, a cheap acre. Why? Because it says in the statute that if you have accelerated the water, you should be in there. You've accelerated the water because you mow the lawn. It's just like a building site. You've accelerated the water, so we take you in. Now, granted, we take the cemetery. If it's a 5-acre cemetery place, we probably take 1 acre of the cheapest. Another reason we do that is 10 years down the line, somebody might say, well, that cemetery should pay. They are in there. They're paying. So we do take them in. Another thing that we have a classification is industrials. The industrials are hog confinements, things like that. There's other things, bin sites, and on the edge of the cities, things like that, like an airport or something. We can take industrials in because you have a lot more runoff off the industrials. The cities, there's more runoff, so we take that into account. And the industrial we take 2 values for that because usually like a hog building, you need tile around it, plus you have more runoff too. After we have arrived at the A, B, C, and D for each parcel, we have to come up with a number that is going to put a value to the A, to the B, to the C, and the D. Most of this area is ag land. Ag land, in this area we have corn, soybeans, and sugar beets is what we have on there. Some places we use wheat. I've had a dairy place that we used alfalfa and so on and so forth. So in this area, we use just these 3. Sometimes we put sweet corn in too. We said that it was about 40% corn, 40% beans, and 20% sugar beets. We said the optimum yield in this area is 200 bushels for corn per acre. Now I realize that you're getting 220 sometimes. This year perhaps you had some 240s. It was really a good year. We don't use the top one at 230 or 240. We don't use the bottom one. Some people got 150. We try to get something in the middle over a 25-year average or something like that. So, and as long as we're treating everybody the same, it's okay. It comes out the same. For soybeans, we use 55 bushels the acre. For sugar beets, 24 tons. Okay, the price that we used was $3.75 for corn. Yes, it's higher right now, but when it was up to $7, we did not use $7. When it was down to $2.50, we did not use $2.50. Again, we used something kind of in the middle. Same with soybeans at $9 and sugar beets at $34. Multiplying that top one, 200 bushels times $3.75, we come a potential income of $750 for corn, times 40% is $300 adjusted income. The soybeans, following that across, was $495 times 40% is $198. Sugar beets, $816, 20%, $163. Totaling those up, you've got a potential income of $661.20. Now you have expenses. Farmers have that. Surprised. But your seed for corn, we said $120 per acre. Now, at some places, it's all conventional corn, and it's cheaper than that. It can be down to $60 or something. Some places, they have triple stack, so they're paying $135. Once again, we're trying to get in the middle, $120. Soybeans, $50. Sugar beets, $200. Fertilizer we get a lot of this. We farm also, so we got an idea. Plus, we usually talk to the local co-ops to find out what they do in this area, or whatever area we're working in. The chemicals, again, we talk to the co-op guys. Crop insurance, talk to my insurance agent. Crop drying, we have for corn, we usually go about 10 cents per bushel. At 200 bushels is $20. Fuel, repairs, and miscellaneous. The University of Minnesota has some numbers that they produce on these also that we take into account. When we get all the expenses, we add the corn up, we have $400. So we add the beans up, we've got $197, and the sugar beets $555. Now we go over to the corn, we put interest on there at 6% for a half a year. What this represents is if you're borrowing the money, we put that as an expense. If you're not borrowing the money, you're using your own money, you should get interest on that. So that's $412. So a 40% rotation is $164.08 for the expenses for corn. Beans, the same thing, $197 is a total. The interest for 6 months, and then we have the total at 40% is 81.164. And sugar beets, we do the same thing. If you notice, we do not have cash rent in the expenses. The reason for that is because you're going to have to pay cash rent even if you drowned out. So what I'm trying to find is a number for a A, B, C, and a D, a value that's worth. So we have total expenses of $360.29. Now what we do with these numbers is we go through our number crunching, I call it. So the top one says it's $661.20. Expenses are $360.29. I'm trying to find out what value the drainage is. Before, you had net income of a pre-project condition. What that means is the A value for ag was 0 because it was 0. It was cattail slough. That's what an A was before drainage. The hay ground, I said, was good for the B's were good for hay and pasture. That's around the slough. We said, well, in this area, maybe it's $70 an acre for hay ground. I cannot lay claim to that $70 because you got that even without drainage. I'm trying to find out a number for the drainage. The C ground, remember I said it was kind of the hillsides. 80% of the time, we estimated that you got a crop. I'm not saying it drowned it out, but it could have been a little peaked in those hillsides because you did not have it tiled. So 80% of our income, it's $528.96 minus your expenses. There's $168.67 I cannot lay claim to. The D grounds doesn't need subsurface drainage, but we said about 95% of the time you got crop without it. The reason to do that is that's when I said you're not going to go out and plant your 40, this little hill and that little hill and that little hill. You're going to wait. If you have proper drainage, you can get in there a little earlier so you can gain like 5%. The next thing we've got on this sheet is the cost of private tile improvement. Okay, in order to get this big number I'm going to get down on the bottom, you're going to probably have to pattern tile. An A ground is the low ground. We said there should be a 60-inch spacing, 60-foot spacing for your tile lines. And we said you can plow in 5-inch plastic for about $1.50 per foot. If you take that for that A acre, you're going to get $43.56 per acre. Or round it to, you get $1,089, but I'm going to depreciate that over 25 years. That's the $43.56, which I rounded off to $44. That's depreciating the tile over 25 years. The B grounds, I got an 80-foot spacing, so it comes out 80 foot for that $1.50 per foot of plowed in plastic, 5-inch, is $816.75. Divided by 25 is $32.67, round to $33. The C, 100-foot spacing, comes out to be a total of $26 for a 25-year depreciation. And the D's, we've got 0. You're not going to pattern tile that. Then I go through my numbers down here. I'll go through that. The A ground, if you have recommended drainage and pattern tile, you're still not going to get a perfect crop out of your A ground all the time. Depends upon the rainfall, of course. But we say in this area about 90% of the time. So 90% of our potential of 661.20 is 595. Subtract the production cost, and I get a net income. Now this previous income, I've got 0 there because there was 0 in the A. If you look over to the B's, remember there was $70 for the hay? I have to subtract that out because I can't lay claim. The C, I said it was $168.67 before any drainage. I cannot lay claim to that, so I have to subtract it out. Same with the D value. Going back to the A, I've got $234.79, the B, $197.85, and so on across. Now, you have to have that private cost. You have to pattern tile it, so I can't claim that. I've got to take that away. So I have to subtract $44 from that income. I got $190.79. $33 for pattern tile in the B. I end up with $164.85. 26 there's so on and so forth, $99.63 and $33.06. Now, to find this dollar figure, I want to know what the cap rate is. The cap rate for that much money over 25 years, and we said at about 2.5%. What that means, an easier way to think about this is how much money, if you go to the bank and you put in, how much money do you have to put in the bank at 2.5% for 25 years, let it sit for 1 year, and then take out $190.79. The next year, take $190.79. Next, $190.79, $190.79. After 25 years, you'll have 0 in there. What is that present day value? I've rounded it off to $3,515. That's what an A value can increase. Okay, the B value, cap rate is $3,040. The C, $1,835, and the D, only $610. That's our values that we end up with for the A, the B, the C, and the D. This is a sample of the worksheet that you received in the mail. All these numbers, it says in 103E 321, we have to put all those numbers on there. What you want to know is what it's going to cost. That number's in there, but legally we have to put all these numbers on there, except the parcel number. We've got way over on the left the parcel number. The auditors want that on. They're pretty firm on that. Then it says that we have to put the name and address. We have to put the legal description of each one. And we have to put the acres of tract. The acres tract on that particular parcel. Then we have some benefited acres. If you've got 40 acres in your tract, but you're way on the edge of the watershed, maybe you only have 5 acres that comes to our way. The other 35 goes some other place, to some other ditch. That's the benefited acres. We take away the roads, like I said, the road acres, the NBs, the non-benefited acres. We take away the ditch acres. We take away the buffer strip acres. This is the benefit acres. If you go across here, you've got A, B, C, and D. Example, right in here we've got A acres of so many. If you take that times the A value that we went and figured out, you get this potential benefits. If you take the B acres times the B value, you get this many potential benefits. The C times that one is this one. The D times that would be that. We also have the industrial acres are over here times the value. And we also have tile. If you have county tile on your 40, it's a benefit to you if you have county tile or a ditch, because you don't have to put your own tile across there. You can tie your tile, pattern tile it, get it into that get it into that county tile system. Now, we only charge you $3.25. Some of you have a 24-inch county tile on your property. That's more than $3.25. The reason we charge $3.25, that's about the price of an 8-inch tile. All you need for your 40 is an 8-inch tile. The reason it's 24 is because there's a whole lot of other people that are dumping into it. So that's all we give you. Then we add up all those and you get potential benefits. That's the potential benefits from nothing to recommended drainage. We have a hydraulic efficiency deal. This particular ditch, JD15, the ditch itself is a 1-inch runoff. That's recommended drainage, a 1-inch runoff. For a tile system, recommended drainage is a 1/2-inch runoff. NRCS recommends that. What that means is a 1-inch runoff, depends upon what part of the state. Maybe in here, and I'm making this number up, if you get a 3.1-inch rain, and again, I'm making that up, 3.1-inch rain, some goes down, some goes up, and 1 inch over all the acres runs down the ditch. That's a 1-inch runoff within 24 hours. A 1/2-inch runoff for a tile system, they recommend a 1/2-inch runoff. Maybe that, and making this number up, maybe that's a 2.2-inch rain in this area. It's different in different areas of the state. So if a 2.2-inch rain over all your area, some goes down and through the ground, some goes back up, and a 1/2-inch runs off into the tile system within 24 hours. That's a 1/2-inch runoff. If we have a tile system, a small tile system that's too small, there instead of 100%, the engineer will tell us that you've only got 40% of what you need, or 30% of what you need, or 60% of what you need. Then we can't take all the potential benefits. We can only take 60% of them, if that's the case. Okay. The next thing we do is we have a proximity factor there. The proximity factor means how close are you to the drainage system. If you're a 40 away, we can't take all your benefits because we have to leave some out there because you got to spend your own money to get your water over across that 40. The next one, if you're back another 40, we have to take less of your benefits. We have to leave you more money because you got to spend your own money to get your water way over to the ditch. So we have proximity factor. Here's an overall map of the entire system. Over here on the left side, we've got the city of Bird Island right there. So you can tell roughly the location. Come down Highway 212, there's the city of Hector that all goes into us. Come down, there's Buffalo Lake that all goes into us. If you come down here, the outlet is right above Stewart. Okay, all this, that's where the ditch is, and all the tile is located in there. We use this big map for the proximity. Now, we have an enlarged one. I enlarged it a little bit for you to see. You can't see all the numbers in there, but you can see part of them. What we've done is, if you're right on the ditch, we put you at 100%. If you're 140 removed, you're back to 85%. Another 40 back is 70%. Another 40 back is 60%. Where do we get those numbers? An engineer told us those numbers years ago. So that's what we use. We do go back on a minimum of, depending upon the ditch system, a minimum of 30% or 20%, depending upon the ditch system, because it's worth something to all the things. So this is our proximity rate. So by using that big map, we put it all in there, and then we get our proximity rate column. That's how we come up with that. So we take the potential benefits times the proximity rate times the hydraulic efficiency, which on this ditch happens to be 100%, and we get the net benefits. The net benefits is what the auditor wants. To find out what it's going to cost each individual parcel, the auditor uses your net benefits for your parcel compared to the total net benefits on the last page, including the roads. We haven't got that right here, but don't need that. We take that percentage, and on this particular one, JD15, we've got a maintenance cost up there of about $1.3 million. What that maintenance cost is the grass strip. Anytime you hire viewers, since about 1967, you've had to buy the grass strip, a 1-rod grass strip easement from the landowner. So figuring out all those acres, some people will be receiving that money. That's how much money it's going to cost, $1.3 million approximately. So if you look under the maintenance cost, if we take your net benefits compared to total net benefits and take the percentage, mathematically you come out with your maintenance cost in that column. The next column, we don't have to put in there, but it's kind of interesting for you, is the percent that each parcel is paying for the whole thing. Here's another picture of the entire map. Again, Bird Island is over on the west side. You got Hector here and Buffalo Lake there, so you know approximately where it is. Okay, the city of Hector dumps in there. There's more runoff off of a city than there is a D acre, so we have to adjust that. But Hector is using part of our ditch, not the entire ditch. Buffalo Lake, city down here, their water's running into our ditch, but again, they're not using as much of the ditch. Excuse me. In addition to that, we have several ditches that are emptying into ours. We have a ditch 75-2 that's over here in Preston Lake Township. That's emptying into our ditch and using a little bit of our open ditch. So if they dump into our open ditch, they have to pay for it. In addition to 75-2 using our ditch, down in Martinsburg Township, we do have 33B that's dumping into 129, and 129 is dumping into our ditch. Once again, they're using our ditch, they have to pay some. In addition to that, we've got a JD28 that's dumps into Buffalo Creek, which is our ditch, and there's several ditches that dump into 28. We're charging ditch 28 for outlet benefits. They will take on their record and charge each one of the other ones. We do have a ditch 107 that's using part of our ditch, and we have a county ditch 114 that's also using part of our ditch that's paying into it. A little of the history of JD 15. The ditch proceeding started in 1915. Construction was completed in 1926. There are approximately now 59,857 benefited acres. There's just about 56 miles of open ditch, and there's approximately 429 miles of county tile. There's 5 other systems that use JD 15 as an outlet. County Ditch 129, JD 75-2, County Ditch 107, County Ditch 114, and JD 28A. Also, we talked about the cities of Hector and Buffalo Lake drain into JD 15. Here's in Martinsburg Township, there's a County Ditch 33B that dumps in to County Ditch 129. Ditch 129 dumps into our branch R of JD 15. So we've got those ditches in our report. The 33B, there's approximately 689 benefited acres now in 33B because we did a redetermination on that one. There are approximately 736 benefited acres in 129. In 1948, a small portion of JD 15 was improved and it was named 33B. Originally, County Ditch 33B outletted into JD 15. The portion of JD 15 where County Ditch 33B outletted was improved and renamed CD 129 in 1957. Today, CD 33B outlets into 29, and they will pay an outlet fee to County Ditch 129. If you look at County Ditch 129's report, they have to help pay into 33B, and 129 pays into JD 15. 75-2 is in Preston Lake, and it dumps into our JD 15, branch V. There's approximately 1,464 benefited acres. We did a redetermination on this one also. It was originally part of lateral V of JD 15, and 69 little Z was established combined with a portion of lateral V to make JD 75-2. It outlets into R15 and we'll pay an outlet fee, outlet benefit to JD 15. There's County Ditch 114. We did not do a redetermination, but one was just done on County Ditch 114. It empties in to us, so it was established in 52 and benefited area is 237 acres in 1952. Now it's about 817 acres. This is typical what I was talking about before. In 52 they only had the wet acres. Now when Mr. Schuler viewed it, he's got 817 acres. The original cost was $20,000. The new benefits are $1,035,284. Yes, 103E 021 says that if you hire viewers, you have to buy the grass strip. I talked about the easement, grass strip easement. We looked at this. We went to the auditor's office to find out current sales in the area, and we've calculated, we take a rough estimate of $7,000 per acre for the tillable acres. Some of them are down $1,000 per acre for rim land, because rim land is assessed less than the tillable acres. So we gave $1,000 for that. There's also some down by Buffalo Creek that we have to buy the grass strip. Right now it's a woods and it's going to stay a woods, but we have to acquire the easement. So we gave that much, $1,000 an acre for the easement for that. The grass strip damages here for JD 15 are $1,321,750 for the 212 acres, because some of it was at 7,000, some of it was at 1,000. This is why the maintenance cost on JD 15 is got that number. The grass strip on 33B is 5.83 acres. That's only 9,000 acres, $9,000, $9,070. And on 129, it's 8 acres and $52,760. So that's the maintenance cost in each one of those. The reason it's different is a lot of those on 33B are already in rim, so we purchased them cheaper. The grass strip damages were purchased on 75-2 during the 1979 determination of benefits at $1,970 per acre back then. So we've got a maintenance cost on 75-2 of $10,000. We put that up there so it's a rough estimate. If they spend $5,000, you can figure out how much yours is going to be. The grass strip for damages in 114 on that 6.3 acres was $46,063. Another thing the 103E says that has to be sent out to you is a property owner's report. The property owner's report came with you, and what that basically tries to do is take all those numbers in the big spreadsheet that we have to have in there, confine them down to just for your area, what you are going to estimated cost and so on and so forth. So that's the property owner's report. So that gives you an estimated maintenance cost. It's on the spreadsheet also, but it's there. Okay. Also on there is an estimated separable maintenance for improvement projects. This is the estimated cost for the improvement projects. We have 5 improvement projects right now. There's more coming down. And they've got something called separable maintenance. Separable maintenance, if this all goes through, then everybody has to help pay for that. What separable maintenance is, to explain it a little bit, the county tile, all the county tile is the county's responsibility, your people's responsibility. The county just does the books for you. So if we have to replace this old tile over by Buffalo Lake, who's going to pay for it? If it's county tile, everybody has to help pay for that county tile. If it's over here by Bird Island and it's county tile that blows out, everybody has to help pay for that county tile. Now, if you do an improvement, any place right in here, if you do an improvement, well, the tile that's in there to replace that is everybody's responsibility, and it's 100 years old, so it's pretty well shot. To replace that, say, is going to cost $1 million to replace that. Well, they're not going to replace it with a tile that's too small again. They want a bigger tile. They want a bigger tile so they get better drainage. Now that's going to be an improvement. That's going to cost some money. That's going to, the total cost, I'm estimating this, is 1.5 million for that project. Well, 1 million for putting the old tile in, that's separable maintenance. Everybody helps pay for the 1 million. The extra 500,000, just the people on that lateral for that improvement pay for that. That's what's coming down the line. They wanted you to put that on the property owner's report. It's not done yet. We have to have the redetermination first. Redetermination does not have anything to do with the separable maintenance, but the separable maintenance is maybe coming down, and Renville County wanted you to know that this might be coming. If there's any questions, first of all, the virtual landowners meeting is going to be February 16th at 1 o'clock. And you can bring your questions to the viewers at that time. The final hearings for the redetermination of benefits for 33B, 129, 75-2, and also they put in County Ditch 114 in there now, will be February 23rd at 8:30 in the morning at the Government Center, or virtual. Final hearing for redetermination benefits for JD 15 is February 25th at 10 a.m. If you've tiled in, if you're on the edge and it's flat ground and you tiled in because you could get better drainage, that's what farmers do. I'm not throwing any stones here. But if you tiled in, you want to be on this report, because if you're not on the report, they can legally cut your tile off. If you've tiled out, some people have tiled in and told us, some people have tiled out. If you've tiled out and go to a different place, I assume you did the outlet benefit at the time. But if you tiled out, we will take you out if your water's going the other way. We might have to take the overland water in, we'll adjust that. But if you're on the edge of it and you're tiled in, you want to be on this sheet. So tell us about it.